Welcome back to Gallatin, Tennessee on the campus of Volunteer State Community College. This is Tim Reese, and I am joined by Reagan Smith, producing game number 4 of the day, tournament game number 8. Features Southwest Tennessee Salukis versus the Chattanooga State Tigers. 3 versus 2 matchup, or a 2 versus 3 matchup. Chattanooga State will take the field. Left fielder Adam Haber, Scott Campbell in center, Mason Page out in right. Cade Chamley at third base. Connor Linkfield at short, C.J. Morrow at second base, Aiden McCaskey at first, Owen Brock behind the plate. And he will catch left-hander Matthew Gist, G-I-S-T, Gist, to face the batting lineup that goes like this for Southwest Tennessee. Tui Cope leading off, playing second base. Anthony Zarlingo in left field, batting second. Tyler Harrington at third, batting third. Brady Holloway at first base, hitting cleanup. Bryce Turner, the DH, batting fifth. R.H. Franklin in right field, batting sixth. 7-hole hitter, center fielder B.J. Banyan. Connor Brinkley, shortstop, batting eighth. Evan Ash behind the plate, batting ninth, and he will catch left-hander Peyton Charles. So a couple of left-handers going today in Game 8. Southwest Tennessee comes in with a record of 42-14 as the number 3 seed, 16-10 in conference play. And Chat State 40-9, 18-8 in conference play. Southwest Tennessee defeated the Pioneers yesterday, 11-8. Chattanooga State in the late game last night defeated Motlow State 6-2 to get here. Another winner's bracket game. The winner of this game will face Walters State tomorrow at, I can read that, 4:30 in the afternoon here Central Time. We are about to get started. Head coach for Chattanooga State is Greg Dennis, assisted by Dion Felger, Logan Fleener, and Josiah Juligay. Head coach for the Salukis, Eric Schoenrock. It's the first pitch delivered by Matthew Gist to Tui Cope, in there for a called strike, and we are underway at 8:22 p.m. by my watch. Game time temperature 72 degrees. Matthew Gist's hat falls off as he delivers strike 2. Cope down in the count, and that's 2 out of 3. The lid comes off the head of left-handed pitcher Matthew Gist. Off-speed pitch misses. Might need to start a new stat for how many times that lid comes off. Gist, a sophomore from Cumming, Georgia. It's Tui Cope swinging for the first out. And stepping to the plate, Anthony Zarlingo, switch hitter.
Now batting for Southwest, number 2, Anthony Zarlingo.
Matthew Gist, an 8-2 record, 5.20 ERA. 13 appearances. This is the 14th of the year. Zarlingo swings and misses at the first offering. 62 and a third innings, 64 hits, 41 runs, 36 are earned. 29 walks, 67 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .264 off the sophomore left-hander. Zarlingo will lay one down, barehanded by the third baseman, Cade Chamley, and Aiden McCaskey picks one out of the dirt. A beautiful bunt by Anthony Zarlingo, but an even better play by Chamley and McCaskey, and that is out number 2.
The bat for Southwest, number 6,
Tyler Harrington, the TCCAA Conference Player of the Year, steps in. Hitting .446 coming into today's game. Didn't get a chance to print off the updated stats for Chat State. Have to go online to get that. They played the late game last night, and they weren't in by the time I left the house this morning, and a little before 8 o'clock. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrington starts to go, but holds up. $15 doubles, 4 triples, and 11 home runs, 69 RBIs, which is good for second in the conference to Corbin Shaw. Foul ball over the top of the netting. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harrington, the third baseman, transfer for Memphis University. Well, Full Count Ministries, full count. Harrington led the conference in hitting, was second in RBIs, and he will have our first full count, first pitch foul ball of the day. We'll do it all over again. Just getting started here in Middle Tennessee. Popped up. Could this be the third pop out to a catcher in the first inning of a ball game today? And that ball is caught by Brock for out number 3 here in the first. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. Heading to the bottom of the first inning. You're listening to the VolState Sports Network. Peyton Charles on the mound for Southwest Tennessee. 13th appearance of the year, 9th start, 4.86 ERA, 6-2 record. Has 1 complete game, 46 plus innings of work this year, 49 hits, 27 runs, 25 earned. 16 walks, 43 strikeouts, almost 1 per inning. He will face C.J. Morrow, Scott Campbell, and Adam Haber for the Chattanooga State Tigers, the number 2 seed in the conference. Peyton Charles delivers breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Anthony Zarlingo in left, B.J. Banyan in center, R.H. Franklin in right field, Tyler Harrington at third, Connor Brinkley at shortstop, Tui Cope at second, Brady Holloway at first base, Evan Ash behind the plate, his first action of the tournament. Game number 2. Couldn't pull that outside fastball into the zone. Catching Peyton Charles. Apparently ball 4. Do you have a 3-ball, 1-strike count, or do you have 2-1? I was going to say, where's he going? He's trying to steal a walk. That's 3 balls and a strike. Dale Rollins behind the plate. Brian Sheets down at first base umpiring, and Chris Judkins at third base. Now that's ball 4 to C.J. Morrow. Leadoff walk for the young man from Ontario, Canada.
Number 4, Scott Campbell.
Scott Campbell steps in. He's from Macon, Georgia. Sophomore outfielder and a right-handed pitcher. Fouls the first pitch off. Says he's a right-handed pitcher, but Scott Campbell apparently has not gotten on the mound this year. Chattanooga State's not needed him apparently. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Ash. I think their PA announcer down there was calling him Ashy, and I asked him, is that the correct pronunciation? And he said, I don't know. It's got an E at the end of it. So I said, oh, okay. I'm going to call him Ash, A-S-H-E. If you're a family member of Evan Ash, you feel free to get in on the chat and let me know if that's right or wrong. Pitch catches the outside corner for a strike. Amy Brock back with us this evening, and she says, let's go Owen Brock. Let's go Tigers. Owen Brock up 4th in the inning. There's a throw over to first base. Morrow back in time. Long pause and a delivery. Misses the zone. Morrow 6 stolen bases in 9 attempts. Chat State comes in 77 stolen bases in 84 attempts, only been caught 7 times. Another foul ball and a fastball right down the can. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of walks, a lot of hit batters in the game just previous to this one between Dyersburg State and Walter State. Not a lot of hits or not a lot of runs. That pitch goes behind Scott Campbell, snagged by Evan Ash. Well, the full count ministries, full count. 6-4 win by Walter State. No home runs in the game, only 11 hits, but multitude of free passes. Ground ball to short, could be 2. Over to second for 1, but that's all they'll get. Nice play by Tui Cope to receive that one. Campbell reaches on the fielder's choice. With 1 out and 1 on, Adam Haber steps to the plate.
10, Adam Haber.
Haber from Marietta, Georgia, a sophomore outfielder. Hitting .387. Fouls that one off. That'll get out of play. Haber second on the club in batting average, .387. Leads the squad with 58 hits, 9 doubles, so 49 singles. There's another one right there. Now that's a 50th single for Adam Haber, hitting out of that 3 spot. First hit of the ball game, putting runners at first and second. And now Owen Brock steps to the plate from Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 8, Owen Brock.
Owen Brock 0 for 3 in yesterday's game. Did draw 2 walks, scored a run. Looks at a called strike. Two on, 1 out. Just getting started. Bottom of the first inning, Peyton Charles for the Salukis, wearing their road gray pants and sky blue tops. There's a throwback to second base. Tui Cope makes the catch, but tag applied, if it was applied, is late. Scott Campbell back in time. Campbell with 22 stolen bases has not been caught. He leads the squad. Adam Haber on at first base has 1 less. Runners don't go, and there's a pitch at the knees over the plate for a called strike. Owen Brock now down in the count, 0-2. Thanks for joining us late here on a Wednesday night, second day of the tournament, now second night. Play-in game started on Sunday and had to be finished on Monday, and rain prevented any further play. Shortstop started to cover, but that pitch misses outside as Charles brings the pitch home. I don't know if there was a play on. Peyton Charles now looking back to, not sure if it's Tui Cope who's giving some kind of a sign. Typically it's the catcher that gives the pickoff sign. That comes from the coach. Curveball is tapped to third base. Harrington's only play to first base, and Owen Brock is retired. Campbell moves up to third, and Haber now at second base. 2 runners in scoring position, but 2 outs. As my lovely wife apparently is tuning in.
Next to bat for the Tigers,
Doubt she'd send a
Stoney Smith.
chat in on the YouTube chat line, but she's got my private number. Holding up just fine, hon. She's concerned about my health. It's now game number 10 in, how many days we've been doing this? 4 days now. Reagan Smith, I got to turn his microphone down all the time. He just cannot stop talking. Let me get a word in here, Reagan. 0-1 pitch. In there, changeup. Nice pitch by Peyton Charles. Called strike. Charles from Buchanan, Tennessee. I wonder if that could be pronounced Buchanan. West Virginia, that would be Buchanan, out of Henry County High School. 6'2", says 175 pounds. He might be a biscuit or two as that ball gets away, and this will produce the Framework Athletics first run of the game for Chat State, who now leads 1-0. But I'm at home. My wife will not stop talking, Reagan. That's why I got to get my words in when I'm out at the ballpark. At home, I'm just a listener. I just don't say anything, and I just let her go. Swinging a foul tip into the mitt, and that'll be the 3rd strike and the 3rd out. Stoney Smith goes down. But Scott Campbell scores on a wild pitch to give Chat State the lead, 1-0 after 1. You're listening to the VolState Sports Network. Brady Holloway, Bryce Turner, and R.H. Franklin due up to face Matthew Gist, who tired the 3 batters he faced in the top of the first inning. Delivers a first pitch ball. There's a strike called. Holloway, 6'2", 220-pound sophomore from Proctor, Arkansas. Went to Evangelical Christian High School. Swings over a breaking pitch. Now down the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Salukis of Southwest Tennessee play their home games in Millington at the USA Stadium. There's a drive into right field just past C.J. Morrow's dive. Was playing him the pull, but Holloway just hooked it past Morrow. There's the first base hit for the Salukis. Now each team with a knock. Bryce Turner, the DH, steps to the plate. Bryce Turner is the second team all-conference designated hitter. Of course, Southwest Tennessee swept the overall awards with outstanding player or the hitter of the year and Tyler Harrington, and the pitcher of the year and Colton Brumley. Breaking pitch to Bryce Turner in there for a called strike. Now down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. R.H. Franklin on deck. Salukis were the home team yesterday, but they were in the first base dugout as Turner strikes out swinging. Second strikeout for Matthew Gist. Saw his dad sitting in the stands just to the left of the press box. Asked him if he got nervous when his son pitched, and he said, "Oh, yeah." There's a step over to first base. Holloway back in time. Fastball goes high. The Gists will return to Georgia. I believe he said they were traveling back tonight, so safe travels to them if they're leaving tonight. Thought he said he was heading back to Atlanta, but not sure how close coming Georgia is to Atlanta. Gists now behind to R.H. Franklin, left-handed hitter, and right fielder. Now 3-0. Franklin from Germantown, Tennessee, went to Houston High School. 6'1", 205 pounds, sophomore. 3-0 pitch, and he will take it. Peyton Charles, a two-way player. The pitcher for Southwest Tennessee, not hitting in this game. Franklin hitting .296, and he will look at a full count. Ministries full count. 34 hits on the year, 5 doubles, a triple, and 7 big flies. 29 RBIs. Looking for a 3-2 pitch he can handle, and he couldn't handle that. Does not swing and gets rung up for out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts for Matthew Gist. Now 3 in the game. B.J. Banyan, the center fielder, steps in. Two outs after Brady Holloway led off with a single. A bit of an awkward swing there by Banyan. Looks like his bottom hand or one of those hands fell off the bat. Another swing and a miss. Now down in the count 0-2. Connor Brinkley waiting on deck. Banyan, a transfer from Memphis, as well as Tyler Harrington. Fouls that one off to the right side. B.J. Banyan, a hometown boy. Bartlett, Tennessee. Just right outside of Memphis. Last year got in 13 games for the Memphis Tigers. Three transfers: Tyler Harrington, B.J. Banyan, and pitcher Bryce Watson did not play. And there's a called strike. Down goes Banyan as Gist strikes out 3 in a row to end the inning and end the threat. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. Heading to the bottom of the second, you're watching the VolState Sports Network. Chattanooga State will send Cade Chamley, Aiden McCaskey, and Mason Page to face Peyton Charles here in inning number 2. First pitch in there to Cade Chamley, called strike. Colin Ash checked in, said you've got the right pronunciation. The E is silent. That's how you know there's class involved, okay? You put an E at the end of something. You don't have to say it. You just show it. It means it's kind of like the pinky finger out when you're using a little small teacup. That's what that means. Allison Page watching again from Palmetto, Florida, down outside of Bradenton. Talk about class. My brother's got a nice double wide down there in Palmetto. Lovely, lovely community. It actually is. They don't call it a trail. They call it a manufactured home. It's a gated community. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cade Chamley. Leadoff batter here in the second. It's a sharp ground ball handled by Brinkley on over to Holloway for out number 1. Cade Chamley hit that ball hard. He just happened to hit it right at the shortstop. 2 chances for Connor Brinkley, and he handles both. Brings Aiden McCaskey to the plate, first baseman. Sees the first pitch strike from Peyton Charles.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 27, Aiden McCaskey.
Started to swing. They want to check down at third base. Chris Judkins says no. He did not go. And our second Canadian in the lineup for Chat State. It's a strike called on that outside corner from Toronto, Canada. You know he played hockey. My son's favorite sport to play. Pitch down there. I'll check with Chris Judkins, and this time he's going to say that McCaskey went. So a strikeout on the swing. Second strikeout for Peyton Charles. 2 up, 2 down.
Next to bat for the Tigers, number 28,
A golfer, a baseball player, and a hockey player. But he loved playing hockey, but it's not like it is in Canada. You have ice time any day you want. Swing and a miss by Mason Page, the right fielder. Page now, I believe, has started the last 7 games for the Tigers. Has a 7-game hitting streak. Was 1 for 3 in the game versus Motlow. Count now 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs and nobody on. He does the don't hit me dance. Gets out of the way of that pitch inside. Page from Palmetto, Florida. Huh, where have I heard that before? Oh, that's Allison. Hit us up on the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and who you're rooting for. Just like Allison Page did for Mason, who is now facing a Full Count Ministries full count. If he swings, 54% chance that he fouls it off. Let's see what happens. We're 1 for 1 here in this ball game as a step off or a step out, I guess, by this one charged to Mason Page. Won't get a chance as Charles misses wide. That's walk number 2 by Peyton Charles. And now the number 9 batter, shortstop Connor Linkfield steps in.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 7, Connor Linkfield.
So both shortstops named Connor, so either way I go, I'm just going to say Connor. Ground ball to Connor. Try to simplify things. As the runner goes, pitch is high, called a ball, and the throw down is not handled by Tui Cope. Stolen base for Mason Page. That was a ball high. Third stolen base of the year for Page in 3 attempts. This is only his 16th game of the year, 10th start. Good throw by Evan Ash, but not sure if Judkins, base umpire, would have called him out if Cope had handled that. That fastball gets in right at the letters on the inside corner to Linkfield. Connor Linkfield from Frisco, Texas, the home of the Frisco, I believe they're called the Rough Riders. I think they're one of the major league teams for the Texas Rangers. Ball's fouled off to the right side. Now 2 strikes on the batter. Connor Linkfield hitting .305, playing in his 38th game of the year. Chattanooga State, 50th game of the year, 40-9 record. Another foul ball out of play to the right side. I didn't give any love to Stoney Smith earlier when he was at the plate. He ended up striking out, but he's local. Stoney from Goodlettsville, Tennessee, it says on the roster, but sources tell me he attended Greenbrier High School. I'll name my source. That's DJ Qualls, our public address announcer, and Toyota Gallatin scoreboard operator. And there is a pitch that misses somewhere. No idea. I don't know how you can take that pitch when you have 2 strikes, but he's still standing up there with a runner in scoring position. A wide open right side of the infield. There's a pitch that is not called a strike. Brings us to a full count. Ministries full count, and the Salukis fans are not happy with the last 2 calls. Well, the full count. Ministries full count. Chattanooga State leading 1-0. Bottom of the 2nd inning. And pitch will stay high. 3rd walk. Peyton Charles has walked 3 of the 9 batters that he's faced, and we'll now see C.J. Morrow step in.
Tigers. Number 9, C.J. Morrow.
Don't have heights on here, but I'd say it's a good chance he is under 5'10". A darn good player, C.J. Morrow, leading the squad. A .394 batting average coming in to this contest. Looks at ball 1. See, about every team will have a scrappy player that you look at and you think, what can he do? But this kid right here is leading the team in hitting. Right at the top in runs scored. He scored 48 of them. Probably been in that leadoff spot most of the year. On base average of .544. And that does lead the club. Swing and a miss on the 2-0. Charles looked like maybe he took something off of that one. Sign being relayed by shortstop Connor Brinkley to the left-handed starter Peyton Charles, wearing the number 1 on the back of his jersey. You don't see a lot of pitchers wearing a number 1. 2-1 pitch. Misses way outside. Big sweeping breaking pitch. Winner of this game gets Walter State tomorrow at 4:30. The loser gets Roan State at 1 p.m. First game of the day tomorrow is VolState versus Dyersburg State in a winner go home. That ball sliced down the left field line. It will go foul down into the corner. Anthony Zarlingo will let somebody from the Chattanooga State dugout come down there and retrieve that ball. Some teams have players that hang out down in the bullpen and some don't. I guess most do not. VolState feels comfortable here and has pretty good sized squad, not having to travel, so most everybody that has a uniform puts it on and gets in a dugout, and it gets a little crowded in there, so a lot of the pitchers and bullpen catchers will go down to the bullpen. Full Count Ministries, full count. 2 outs, runners will be running on the pitch from Peyton Charles to C.J. Morrow. And the pitch, oh, just outside. That is the 3rd consecutive walk by Peyton Charles, and that will draw a visit from who I would assume is the pitching coach. And I don't have that designated on this roster. It's not head coach Eric Schoenrock. I believe that is going to be Elliot Bush. But if you know and I'm wrong or I'm right, you're welcome to let me know on the chat on our VolState YouTube channel. Have not checked in a while what's happening with the VolState women's. They are also on the VolState Sports Network.
Next to bat for the Tigers, number 4, Scott Campbell.
Scott Campbell with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He reached on a fielder's choice and ended up scoring the only run of the game, and he'll look at a called strike. That pitch misses just inside. VolState was playing Cleveland State Lady Cougars. And VolState defeated the Lady Cougars 17-7 in 6 innings, so they will move on. Cleveland State will end their season as Scott Campbell comes up empty on a healthy cut. Lady Pioneers will move on to play the Lady Eagles of Dyersburg State tomorrow at 3 p.m. in another losers bracket ball game. Walters State is in the winners bracket against Chattanooga State. So 4 teams remain in the TCCAA Region 7 softball tournament across campus. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Scott Campbell with Adam Haber on deck. 2 outs and the bases are loaded. Fly ball at the left field sends Anthony Zarlingo back, and he has slumped the shoulders. Scott Campbell has just hit a grand slam home run and put the Chattanooga State Tigers up 5-0. That is Scott Campbell's team-leading 7th home run. As I said yesterday, only 3 Tigers have home runs. Scott Campbell is the leader with 7. Aiden McCaskey has 5, and Stoney Smith with 3. They don't have hit a lot of them, but that is the 15th of the year, and that is a big one, a grand slam home run for Scott Campbell. All 3 runners who scored ahead of him were free passes given up by Peyton Charles. Adam Haber squared the bunt, but does not. Bases are now cleared. There's a called strike. Count goes 0-2 quickly. Another shot out the left field, sending Zarlingo back a little bit, but he'll make the catch for out number 3. 4 runs on the grand slam home run by Scott Campbell gives Chattanooga State a 5-0 lead. We are headed to the third on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese back in Gallatin, Tennessee on the campus of VolState Community College. Southwest Tennessee steps in with 8-9-1 here in the top of the third inning. Matthew Gist now 5-run lead possibly as that ball's hit deep to left field. A jumping, leaping catch at the wall. Not sure if Adam Haber took one away. I don't have that view. But he jumped right at the wall, did not crash into it. Didn't see the fans that were behind the fence get up and try to move out of the way of that. So maybe it wouldn't have gone out. But fine running catch by left fielder. Adam Haber is not sure what's happening here. Like we might have an issue between center fielder and second baseman. Scott Campbell and C.J. Morrow were gathered together to talk about something, but apparently all is well. And Matthew Gist back on the hill and ready to deliver a breaking pitch called strike to Evan Ash. His first at-bat of the tournament. Now down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Put a star by that catch by Adam Haber. Ash, the catcher, looks at that pitch inside. Get some crowd noise. Come on, Reagan. You got to help me remember that, man. If we don't hear crowd noise, I hadn't turned that up. I remember when I used to do all of this. You are spoiling me. I don't think I want to go back and have to run all this equipment again at the same time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ash looks at a breaking pitch that stays up. Evan Ash hitting .292. Swing and a miss as the bat comes out of his hand. 5th strikeout by Gist. And Tui Cope steps into the box.
Number 13.
Hitting .360 coming into today's action. 8 doubles, 3 triples, and a home run. From John Overton High School here in Nashville, Tennessee, hometown Antioch. Former teammate of Tanner Bumbleau and Caleb Pika, 2 players on the VolState roster. He struck out to begin the game. Fouls that one off. Nobody out. Two outs. Nobody on. Cope able to lay off of that high fastball. Just missed outside. The breaking pitch of a full count. Ministries full count. Tapper down to first base. Aiden McCaskey comes in to get it before it hits for the second time and steps on first base for the unassisted out. We'll have a little Sweet Home Alabama as we head to the bottom of the third inning. 5-0, Chat State leads. You're watching TCCAA tournament action on the VolState Sports Network. Leading off for the Tigers, Owen Brock here in the bottom of the third inning. Grounded out to third base in the first. Peyton Charles back out on the mound. Probably some instructions from the coach to say, let's challenge him. Walked 4 batters, walked 3 in a row. Right before the big fly by Scott Campbell as Owen Brock fouls that one off to the right side. Brock hitting .364. With that grand slam, Scott Campbell took the team lead in RBIs. Now has 56. Aiden McCaskey with 54. I'd see where they sit on the, let's see if I can find a way to figure that out. The internet is, or the website is not working for me, where I can go and look at the stats on my iPad for some reason. Coming into the tournament, Scott Campbell was tied for 8th at 52 and now has, let's see, 56. Apparently he did not get one in yesterday's matchup with Motlow State, and he did not. So 56 would move him in a tie with Cruz Newman in 4th place. Owen Brock will take one off the legs. And another free pass by Peyton Charles. Yesterday's action, Colton Bromley was the starter. He ended up going 5 innings, give up 7 hits, and got the victory as Owen Brock needs a little bit of extra time. Stoney Smith steps in. Struck out to end the first inning. Did not start yesterday's game. Starting today in the DH role, swings and misses. Greenbrier, Tennessee is in Robertson County, just on the eastern border, right next to Sumner County. Gallatin, Tennessee is in Sumner County, so it's not that far away. I would assume he's got family here to watch him play. I'll have to drive all the way to Chattanooga to see him play. Hitting .341, playing in game number 44. It was 44 hits, 9 doubles, 3 triples, and he's one of 3 Chattanooga State Tigers that has hit a ball over the fence. 39 RBIs coming into today's action. No outs and a runner at first. Pop fly down the right field line, and that will get right in front of the maintenance shed. That has been getting lots of use here in the last week or so. 2 weeks, especially getting ready for the tournament. A lot of work involved putting on a 10-team tournament, no question. Head coach Jim McGuire and his assistant coaches Braden Kale and John Ripel have been working long hours to get ready. Smith check swing, and they will check down at first base. Stoney Smith is going to go down again on strikes. Brian Sheets says he went. Strikeout number 3 for Peyton Charles, and he's gotten Stoney Smith twice, so 1 out and 1 on. Kate Chamley, who grounded out to the shortstop to lead off the second, steps in. Southwest Tennessee looking for a do-dat double play. Might be hard to turn Chamley. Looks like he runs pretty well. Fouls that one off to the right side. Chamley from McDonough, Georgia. Freshman. Looks like he's about 6'1", 165. Since they don't have height and weight on there, I'll just guess from time to time. If you're familiar with Nashville, Tennessee, it used to be the home of the, what is that called? The Opryland theme park. That's what it was. Thinking Opryland Hotel. No, it was right next to the Opryland Hotel. It's been closed down for a number of years, but back when it was open, they had a guess your weight and guess your age, not your height, but your age and your weight. His time is called by Evan Ash as that pitch called a strike, but he wants to go out and talk to Peyton Charles about something. Maybe they're roommates and trying to figure out who's going to sleep on the couch and who's going to sleep in the bed tonight. What do you think, Qualsey? Probably not a discussion they're having about who has the best playlist on their phone. They don't know you. It wasn't you they were talking about. No, I know. Tell me I don't know. There's a throw over to first base. Yeah, maybe that is what they were talking about out there. Man, this DJ is really spinning some tunes. This is what you get in game 4, folks. 5-0. 5 runs on just 2 hits. Fouled off to the right side. Chamley hanging tough. Spoiling pitches from Peyton Charles. Shot into left field. Tyler Harrington not able to get to that ground ball base hit. That's the first hit of the inning. Third hit of the ball game for Chat State.
Next to bat for the Tigers.
Puts runners now at first and second. Aiden McCaskey steps to the plate. Another lefty on lefty matchup. Charles looks back twice to second base. Runners go is now we got a runner at first base. It's picked off. Both runners stopped, and he'll be tugged out. And Owen Brock stays at second base instead of trying to get into a rundown. Not sure why they both stopped. Cade Chimley will be picked off 2-3. McCaskey had squared the bunt on 2 strikes, so there's no way that he was going to follow through with a bunt. That had to have been a fake bunt and a steal, so maybe Owen Brock just didn't feel like he had the jump that he needed. So he stopped, but Cade Chimley was hung out to dry. So now 2 outs. A runner in scoring position. Peyton Charles trying to get out of a jam. The 0-2 pitch misses down stairs to McCaskey. Swing and a miss, and McCaskey goes down on strikes. That is 4 strikeouts for Peyton Charles. No runs, no hits, no error, or 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We're through 3, 1/3 of the way through. 5-0 Chat State leads on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese and Reagan Smith back for the top of the 4th inning. Southwest Tennessee is behind 5-0. Big hit of the ball game was a grand slam by Scott Campbell. After 3 batters in front of him were walked. And that all happened with 2 outs. So Anthony Zarlingo, Tyler Harrington, and Brady Holloway try to chip away at that 5-run deficit. Zarlingo retired 5-3, laid down a nice bunt that Cade Chimley came in and charged. The pitch fouled off to the right side. That'll get out of play. Count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wait a bit for Mason Page to get back in position in right field. Anthony Zarlingo, a switch hitting sophomore, 5'11", 155 pounds from Olive Branch, Mississippi. To high school at North Point Christian. Able to lay off that breaking pitch. Brings us to a full count. Ministries full count. Smashed right by his head coach standing out at third base, Eric Schoenrock. is a count. First pitch foul ball. Another one popped up out of play. That one's popped out to right field, sending Mason Page back, and now he turns around and makes the catch. One up, one down for Matthew Gist in for his fourth inning of work. Tyler Harrington steps up. He popped out to the catcher in foul territory to end the first inning. VII, Indiana. I got to know where VII is. Let me see. Sandy Elgood. Elgood probably is how that's pronounced. Checks in. Tyler Harrington now down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Now we're working. Good job. 0-2 pitch. Another pop up in the infield. This looks like it'll be a can of corn for Aiden McCaskey, and has to come back toward the infield a little bit to make that. So 2 foul pop-ups for the Conference Player of the Year. Not what he had envisioned when he woke up this morning.
Brady Holloway.
Holloway looks at a first pitch that misses. Now 2 balls and no strikes. VII, Indiana's just north of I-71, coming out of Louisville on your way to Cincinnati, my hometown. I knew I'd seen that on a sign somewhere. Sandy, not far away from Warsaw, right on the Ohio River, I guess. 4-pitch walk to Brady Holloway. Matthew Gist apparently didn't want anything to do with Brady Holloway. First walk of the game. Bryce Turner steps in.
Number 0.
The DH, he struck out in the second inning. Fouled off to the right side. Swing and a miss. A tailing fastball, and there the hat goes again. Hadn't seen that come off since the first inning, but maybe he's become adept at catching it after he throws the pitch, and he's just really fast at it. I don't know. Turner able to hold up on that one. Drive out to center field, sends Campbell back. He is still going back, backing up at the track, makes the catch. Or out number 3. Bryce Turner gave it a ride, but Scott Campbell able to get back there and get under it for the 3rd out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 runner left on base. Southwest Tennessee still trails by 5, heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. You're watching the VolState Sports Network. Mason Page will lead off for Chat State, facing Peyton Charles in his fourth inning of work. He started this ball game, only giving up 3 hits, but hit a batter and walked 4. 3 of those, actually 4 of those walks have come in to score. Valerie, if you're still listening, this is a junior college tournament down in Tennessee. Not National Junior College D1 schools. In Region 7, there's a smash that has a third base coach hopping up in the air. Maybe Logan Fleener. That's who my guess is. I wouldn't expect pitching coach Dion Felger to be the third base coach. Popped up in the infield. Let's see if we're going to have our 4th pop-up caught by a catcher, and it is not. Evan Ash threw off his mask, then threw off his helmet, and could not corral that pop-up. Those are tough plays, but I know they practice them periodically. Tough to find somebody who can actually hit it off the bat. Normally they'll do it with a machine, not typically the same spin on it. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Mason Page, who walked and scored in the second. He'll foul one just over the backstop. Thanks for watching from the Chicago northwest suburbs. Matt Hemstreet checking in from Crystal Lake. I'm assuming that's a suburb of Chicago as well. Rooting for Owen Brock. We have a Full Count Ministries full count. Back in the full count rhythm, we had a Nana from Naperville, and that is ball 4. Mason Page walks for the second time. 5 walks. See some light blue jerseys moving around now down in the Salukis bullpen. Looks like a right-hander getting loose. With my old eyes and the darkness down in that bullpen, I can't see a number anyway. I'll wait to see who starts trotting in the middle of the field once and if that happens. Connor Linkfield, who also walked, scored on the grand slam by Scott Campbell. I'll be saying that of Mason Page, Connor Linkfield, and C.J. Morrow. Throw over to first base. Page back. He's got a stolen base already. Delivery to the plate. Another lost ball. Tell you, there's 24 baseballs easily out to the right because nobody's going to get those baseballs that I can see. Seldom used. That one hits the screen. We'll get to use that one again. Linkfield 2 for 3 in yesterday's game against Motlow State. Chattanooga won 6-2. First matchup in the tournament. Spoils another pitch. Motlow, the 7th seed, had to win a play-in game just to get into the tournament. Lost to Chattanooga State, put them in the losers bracket game versus VolState today, and VolState defeated the Bucks 6-4 earlier. That was game number 2 of the day, which was 6 of the tournament. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Connor Linkfield. He had 2 RBIs and scored a run in yesterday's game as well. Fouls another pitch as that left hand comes off the bat. Wonder if there's some condensation or dew or something that's preventing these batters to hold on to the bat. Redshirt freshman from Frisco, Texas, back in there, and he will move his feet this time to get out of the way of a breaking pitch, so as not to be harmed. Full Count Ministries, Full Count. Go to fullcountministries.com. If you've got a high school or college player that interested in going on mission to play baseball and share the gospel, there are 5 trips this summer. A bunch of great guys. One of them happens to be my son that will be heading down, and he's 31 years old. Hasn't played baseball in forever. Another walk. That will bring out head coach Eric Schoenrock. That might be the end of the line for Peyton Charles, who's given up 6 free passes along with a hit batter as he takes the baseball. So we got a pitching change. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return on the VolState Sports Network. Summit Concrete call to the bullpen for the Salukis. Right-hander Wes Butler comes out of the bullpen in relief of Peyton Charles. Butler from Michie, Tennessee, M-I-C-H-I-E. Could be Mitchie. I'm going to go with Michie. Adamsville High School. 6'3", 185-pound freshman right-hander. He is on for appearance number 12 of the year, relief appearance number 11. 8.0 ERA, 2-0 record, 18 innings pitched, 23 hits, 19 runs, 16 earned, 14 walks, 20 strikeouts. Opponents hitting just under 300. He is on in relief of Peyton Charles, who goes 3+ innings, gives up 3 hits, 5 runs they were earned, walked 6 batters, struck out 4, does give up a home run, and it happens to be a big one, a grand slam, and does walk or hit 1 batter.
Now batting for the Tigers.
Yeah, he will face the top of the lineup with 2 on and nobody out. C.J. Morrow, who's walked twice and scored 1 run. As we go up with the field, Mike squares around a bunt. And a throw down to second base. That ball will hit off of probably the right leg of Mason Page. Otherwise, that was heading into center field. Wes Butler had to get out of dodge, keep from getting hit with that throw down by Evan Ash. 2 runners on base are the responsibility of Peyton Charles. Say he's given up 5 runs. Chance he gives up 7. So far he's given up 5. Throw to second base, not in time. I have absolutely made a mess of this countertop up here. I got papers everywhere. I am spread out over almost 2 full sections here. Shortstop is now standing on second base. Square around a bunt by Morrow and pulls the bat back. Home plate umpire Dale Rollins says strike. Chat State trying to play add-on here. Take advantage of walks by Peyton Charles. Charles came in with 16. There's a ground ball that gets up the middle, and it is completely vacated. B.J. Banyan picks it up and then drops it there. They will hold the runner at third base. Connor Linkfield was coming around third base as though he was going to score from first base. 1 run scores. And Connor Linkfield gets all the way to third base on the single by C.J. Morrow. RBI single. Now 6-0. We're going to have to fix that scoreboard. I said 1 run scored. We'll have to go back and play the tape. Runners at the corners, brought to you by Line to Line, providing padding, netting, and screens all around Pioneer Field here on the VolState campus. Thanks to Stephen Dotson and Bill Marbett and the Line to Line crew and the Good Time or Game Time. Popped up. That might be playable. Evan Ash will give it a look as it falls just on the other side of the aluminum seats. Southwest Tennessee had the wheel play on where the second baseman goes to first base, shortstop goes to third, and first baseman and third base crash the plate to field a bunt, but C.J. Morrow did not bunt. He hit a high hopper over the pitcher, Wes Butler, and there was nobody in the middle of the field to field it until it got out to B.J. Banyan. Scott Campbell, who has a grand slam and 4 RBIs at the plate now with a chance to drive in at least 1 more run. Count goes 2 balls and 1 strike to the Tiger center fielder. Macon, Georgia. He's a long way from home. Starts to swing at that and holds up, but a called strike. Not as far away from home as these Canadians, eh? Or Frisco, Texas. Palmetto, Florida's a long way away, as well as Crystal Lake. Franklin, Tennessee, pretty close. Breaking pitch just missed. Well, a full count Ministries, full count. That's just on the Tigers side. Orange, Texas. That's down in East Texas, I believe down nearby Beaumont. Cooper Longren, a freshman left-hander. Pitch is called a ball, and Evan Ash almost threw down to second base to get a runner who's awarded the base anyway after Campbell walks. That's the 7th walk of the game by
now batting for the Tigers.
Salukis pitching.
Adam
First
Taylor.
walk by Wes Butler, who's on in relief of Peyton Charles. Now the bases are loaded, still nobody out. Butler from the windup and delivers a pitch outside. Saw something flying through the air, and that must have been Scott Campbell throwing some piece of equipment over to the first base coach. Butler delivers the same pitch outside to Adam Haber. Signaled in the first, flew out in the second. Batting here for the third time in the fourth inning. Chat State 1 in the first, 4 in the second, and now 1 so far here in the fourth. There's a check swing that will go too short. His only play is to first base, and he throws it where Brady Holloway able to pick it clean right off the dirt. So Adam Haber gets an RBI ground out. Connor Brinkley to Holloway for the first out. Everybody else moves up 90 feet, putting runners at second and third. Now 2 runs in, 7-0. Connor Linkfield comes in to score. Owen Brock, the pride of Crystal Lake. .39 RBIs, looking for RBI 40 and more with 2 in scoring position. Fouls that one off out of play. Chat State right now eyeballing a mercy rule if they can get 10-run lead after 6 innings. Sure, that's going through their head. 2 more right here would be beneficial for that. We finished game 4 a little after 11 p.m. Central last night. Started this game at about 8:22 Central. Unless there's an early exit, good chance we're finishing after 11 tonight. He does the dance, and I cannot believe he got that midsection out of the way. Probably wearing a large shirt. If he's wearing an extra large, he's standing on first base with a hit by pitch without a bruise. That shirt would have absorbed that pitch. 2 balls and a strike, 1 out. Now 3 balls. Nope. Apparently the scoreboard a little delayed, as it will do from time to time. Toyota of Gallatin, brand new scoreboard as well. A pinch hitter, number 15, stepping in for Stoney Smith, and this is Cole Brennan, young man out of Anderson High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. 6 foot, I'll go 6'4", 6'3" and a half, 6'3" and a half. If he's 190, I'll be surprised. Heard from his family last night.
Now batting for the Tigers.
They probably don't know how much he weighs.
Number 15, Cole Brennan.
Looks like a long distance runner. Tall, lean left-hander. In there with the bases loaded. Called strike. One out. Bases loaded. Cole Brennan, a nice cut, fouls that one off. Brennan hitting .369, 38 hits, 7 doubles. Does not have a long ball this year. He's a sophomore, not sure what his stats. I'd have to check last year's stats to see. Haven't gone that deep in research, haven't had the time. Broadcasting 4 games yesterday, and my preparation, I wasn't thinking about Cole Brennan's 2022 stats. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I apologize to the Brennan family. I don't know what I was thinking. Misses outside. Brennan looks at that one from Wes Butler. Count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jonas Sutton says Tyler Harrington is his favorite player. High fly ball to center field. B.J. Banyan goes back and now over to left center field. This will get in 1 run as C.J. Morrow comes in to score the 8th run of the ball game, 3rd run of the inning. Now Cade Chamley will step in.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 3, Cade Chamley.
Stoney Smith struck out twice in his 2 at-bats. Cade Chamley is 1 for 2. Runners now at first and second with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Like a slider outside or a cut fastball. Scott Campbell at second, Owen Brock at first base. First 3 runners who are batters who reached have scored. There's another $8 baseball that went through the trees and across the street over there, the street that goes into the gap. People I know who know what they're talking about say there's $100 a dozen. Now tell me $100 divided by 12, what's that get you? Less than $12. I wasn't a math major, I just was an accounting major. Depends on what kind of baseballs you're buying. Are you buying gold-laced baseballs? Those are $12 a dozen, or $12 for a baseball, so $144 a dozen. I'm just buying the red-laced cowhide baseball. 0-2 pitch to Cade Chamley, misses high. See some of the Pioneers down here. They're playing 10 o'clock game tomorrow morning, 12 hours from now. I see Carter Vrabel and Cade Sanders, Eli Klopfelter. Might be Carter Bolt, maybe Jake Burris. There's a slow roller to short. Double clutch, throw to first base. And Sheet says they got him. Oh, base umpire, first base umpire. Double clutch by Connor Brinkley and just gets Cade Chamley by a step. That's twice that's happened. But Chattanooga State puts 3 more on the board. The aid of 2 more walks. So that is 6 walks that have come across the score out of the 8. There was 1 hit. No errors. 2 runners left on base. We're through 4. 8-0. Chattanooga State leads. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us tonight on the VolState Sports Network. It's not ESPN, but my motto is it's better than nothing, folks. You're getting passion, getting Somebody who loves baseball and been around it for a long, long time. And I want to do it, so thanks for giving me the opportunity and checking out the broadcast. Matthew Gist back out on the mound. He is 0-2 to R.H. Franklin, the right fielder for Southwest Tennessee. He struck out looking in the second. Left-hander delivers one outside there. Franklin getting on base at a 445 clip, but not today. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Strikeout number 6 with a young man from Cumming, Georgia, Matthew Gist. G-I-S-T, Gist. B.J. Banyan steps in. He also struck out looking. Gist starts out with a strike. Banyan 2 for 4 against VolState yesterday. Had a double. He drives one to deep left field there. Adam Haber will look up and watch that one go out of the ballpark, and that's a home run. And Southwest Tennessee is finally on the board. That's B.J. Banyan's 3rd big fly of the year. Solo shot here off of Matthew Gist. Haber gave that about 2 or 3 steps, and he stopped.
Next at bat for Southwest, number 15, Connor Brinkley.
1 out, 1 run in. Fly ball to left field. Haber have a chance to make this grab. Reaches up there with the glove on the left hand. Makes the catch just like he's done thousands of times. Probably started out playing catch with his dad in Georgia.
Batting for Southwest, number 19.
I know that's what my son did. Would have stayed out all night long catching pop-ups. Love to do that. Now, my daughters never asked me to go out and throw a ball with them. 2 balls, no strikes to Evan Ash, who also a strikeout victim. Now looking at a 3-0 count. Connor Brinkley is now flown out to Adam Haber twice. The first time, Haber had to make a running catch out there in left field. There's a 3-0 pitch on the inside corner to Ash. Ash did not play in the ball game against VolState. He drives one out to right field. That might get down in front, and it will. The diving Mason Page, and it'll go all the way to the wall. Evan Ash is hustling around second base. He will pull up with a triple. Got to believe Evan Ash hasn't had too many of those. But he has one, now 2 on the year. It is his 3rd extra base hit. He has 1 home run for the season as well. That was a all or nothing play right there for Mason Page. Just a little short on that dive. Tui Cope steps in with 2 outs and a runner at third base. Called strike. Cope 0 for 2. Solo home run by B.J. Banyan puts the Salukis on the board, 8-1. There's a shot down the third base line. Fair ball. Tui Cope will cruise on into second base. He acts like he's going to go to third, but that would have been maybe the worst decision he'd ever made, as that ball is picked up by Adam Haber, and Tui Cope gets an RBI double. Now 1 for 3. had hugged the line, went right over the third base bag. So the Salukis are a single away from a team cycle here in the 5th inning. They got hard ones out of the way, the home run, the triple, and the double. If they get a single here, that would be the cycle in reverse order. Zarlingo 0 for 2. Pitch called a ball. Somebody thought that ball was right down the middle of the plate. I don't agree. 2 balls, no strikes to the switch hitting left fielder. Timeout called, and this has got to be Dion Felger, the pitching coach, 2nd year coach for Greg Dennis, Chattanooga State. He'll come out, talk to his young left-hander. Pioneers went to Chattanooga State, first conference series of the year, and I went and traveled and broadcasted those 3 games. I believe Gist might have pitched the 2nd game in that series. Did not have the best outing, and I believe it was in that game after he was a starting pitcher. Next thing I know, he's back up into the press box, and I think he was the scoreboard operator / PA announcer / broadcaster. They had their guy doing it all. Breaking pitch misses outside. Our guy here, Alex Qualls, all he really did was run music, do a little PA, a little talking into the microphone. Runner goes from second. The throw gets by the third baseman, and he's going to go ahead and come home. Throw to the plate is not caught. The runner at first, who walks, heads down to second base. It's got to be an error on, I guess it doesn't have to be an error. I guess it could be on the throw. Anthony Zarlingo walked, but another run comes in. The aggressive running of Tui Cope gets a stolen base of third, and then comes home. He is going to have to come home on an error on the throw. Have to see who that error is on, whether it was on the catch or on the throw. To check that on the replay. Tyler Harrington steps in, but another run on the board. Oh for 2, has 2 pop outs, one to the catcher and one to the first baseman. There's a foul ball straight back. And we didn't get that on the wide shot on that throw down to third base, so not really sure who that error is on. I'm going to say it's on the catch. I thought the throw was pretty good. There's a high fly ball to left field, but Haber will get under that one, make the catch. Tyler Harrington is now 0 for 3. But 3 runs come across for the Salukis. They get back into the ball game now, cut the lead by 3 runs. 3 runs, 3 hits. There was 1 error and 1 runner left on base. After 4.5, 8-3, Chattanooga State leads. You're listening to the VolState Sports Network. Aiden McCaskey leading off the bottom of the 5th inning as the Salukis matched the 3 runs that Chat State scored in the bottom of the 4th inning. See that deficit back to 5. Wes Butler back out on the mound. It's a swing and a miss by McCaskey, who's done a bit of that in this ball game. He's struck out twice. Swing and miss again. Early in the year, though, Aiden McCaskey had it going on. He had a 15-game hitting streak. 0-2 misses low. One for 5 in yesterday's game. Scored a run. Fouls that one off. McCaskey was 8 for 29 in the last 10 games of the season. 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Had 10 RBIs, averaged 1 a game those last 10. But a hot hitter in the middle of the year, not so hot in this ball game as he strikes out. It's the hat trick.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 28.
It's the first strikeout for Wes Butler. Peyton Charles' line ends with 3+ innings of work, gave up 3 hits, but 7 runs. They were earned, walked 6. Ball's popped up and gets out of play. Struck out 4. Gave up a grand slam home run to Scott Campbell and also hit a batter. Five of the 6 walks ended up scoring. Mason Page started to go and then said, wait a minute, that ball might hit me. I better get out of the way. He's walked twice and scored twice, as has the man on deck, Connor Linkfield. Scored half of the runs. Thanks for joining us tonight and for your chats. Monty Myers checking in from Seminole, Florida, rooting for the Salukis of Southwest Tennessee. Glad to have you. That Callie Libera watching from Toronto, Canada, rooting for Aiden and Corey. Page stays alive. See, Aiden's from Toronto. I'm guessing the C in CJ Morrow might be Corey. That'd be my investigative mind at work, since he's from Canada. The only 2 Canadians on the Southwest Tennessee roster. I'm going to go with that. Another foul ball by Mason Page. Connor Linkfield, if he's not ready by now, I'm not sure how many pitches that Mason Page has seen from Wes Butler, but got to be 7 or 8. Tap another one foul. That will get a bite out of his right knee, apparently. Wow. Normally you hit your front leg, and he's so good and so quick. Yeah, maybe he'd be so late. Hits his back leg on that one. Still with me, Reagan? He's still awake. Okay. Hate when your producer falls asleep. As a shot out the left field. And that one is back and gone. Mason Page with a big fly. Home run for Chat State. Solo shot for Mason Page. And there's the fourth batter for Chattanooga State that's hit a home run. That's the first home run for Mason Page.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 7, Connor Linkfield.
He got all of that one. Barely cleared the fence. That was a line drive home run. Connor Linkfield steps in. Should be ready. Mason Page kept fouling off pitches and fouling off pitches. And then I guess he must have got mad after he fouled one off of his leg and said, I'm tired of fouling off pitches. Let me hit with this one out of the park. Got around the bases pretty easily, though. So congratulations to the Page family. All celebrating that home run by Mason down in Palmetto, Florida. A 2-0 pitch right down the can. Right down Central, right down Broadway, as heard some folks. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 in, 9-3. Chattanooga State leads. Again, the winner of this game faces the #1 team in the country in Division I, Walters State, who defeated Dyersburg State in the winner's bracket game just before this one. There's a shot over the outstretched glove of Tyler Harrington. Zarlingo able to get to that one, get it back in the infield. Connor Linkfield now 1 for 1. He's been on base all 3 times. Back to the top of the lineup, CJ, call me or don't call me Corey Morrow.
CJ Morrow.
So I'm guessing he's Corey Jr. That's another guess I'm going to go to. CJ, Corey Jr. Or he could be Corey James or Corey John. This is outside. He's been on base all 3 times. The 8, 9, and 1 and 2 batters, so 4 batters in a row, have been up to the plate 3 times apiece, and they've been on base every single time. Now 1 on a fielder's choice. I don't know that that counts. So Scott Campbell may have messed that whole analysis up. I don't think there's too many people that are actually keeping a scorebook at home. I know I wouldn't be. Ground ball to second. Cope flipped to shortstop, picked out of the dirt by Brady Holloway. That is the best 4.63 that we've seen in the tournament thus far. A dudette double play, just what the doctor ordered for Wes Butler. Tui Cope, that ball was not in his glove, but a millisecond. CJ Morrow, a quick runner, and just barely edged at first base on a nice pick out of the dirt on the throw from Connor Brinkley. But 1 run on the big fly by Mason Page gives the Tigers a 9-3 lead. You're watching VolState Sports Network. Middle of the lineup, due up for Southwest Tennessee, and Brady Holloway just made a nice pick of a ball that's not necessarily in the dirt, but very, very close if it wasn't on the 4-6-3 double play. And Holloway steps in facing Matthew Gist on for his 6th inning of work. Scheduled for 9 innings, as all games are here in the TCCAA conference tournament. Gist now gone to 2 balls and no strikes. On deck, Bryce Turner. Holloway with a single in the right field and a walk. Has not gotten to second base so far tonight. And he is 1 pitch away from saying hello to first base again. Called strike, and he will do a 360 as he turned to go down to first base. Now he'll go to first base with his 2nd walk. 3rd walk by Matthew Gist. Apparently does not want to have anything to do with Brady Holloway. Bryce Turner, he's handled, struck out, and flied out. Big cut by Turner. Comes up empty. Guess missed with another one. I'm not sure who Mike B's talking about here, but I think he's trying to bait me into calling somebody a nickname, and I'm not going to do it. You can do it online here, as long as it's okay with the FCC or the YouTube police or whoever, but I don't know about that nickname. 2-2 pitch misses low and outside, and well, the full count Ministries full count. Southwest Tennessee down by 6. Need a lot of base runners, and there's another one. Matthew Gist has now walked 2 in a row, and Brady Holloway will, in fact, step on second base. First time he's gotten down there. Nobody working, as now I see somebody heading down to the Tiger bullpen. But it's only one person, and you can't warm up a pitcher with one person. You may be pretty good, but you're not that good, as I now see a second individual head down. And now a bullpen catcher. That was my job my first year. When you're the number 8 catcher out of 8 catchers, you put the gear on as that ball gets away from Owen Brock, and he will not be able to recover in time. Both runners move up on the wild pitch. But if you'll work it right, you get a lot of opportunity to get behind the plate and catch pitchers and learn how to block pitches, and back in my day, to learn how to call a game. Take that as a training time, then you could parlay that into a nice scholarship. That ball's lifted out to left field. Adam Haber looked like he didn't know where it was, and he'll throw to third base instead of the plate. That'll be a sacrifice fly for R.H. Franklin. Adam Haber, oh, they're going to call They're going to call Holloway out for leaving too soon, so no run. Now 2 outs. That's a double play, not an RBI. Now 2 outs.
Now batting for Southwest.
Said
Number 20, BJ.
Holloway left early. That'll be a. Not sure if that's an assist. That ball's popped up in the air. BJ Banyan, shallow right field. Mason Page calls, but CJ Morrow says, no, that's mine. Pop out to the second baseman. Pretty quick turnaround right there. Is 3 outs on 2 pitches. No runs, no hits, 1 runner left on base. Thanks for joining us on the VolState Sports Network.
For all concessions needs, the stand will be closing in 15 minutes. Come down and get everything done. Leading off the bottom of the
Scott Campbell steps in to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. Wes Butler back out on the mound. Quiet around here all of a sudden. Two teams from 2 different sides of the state. Tennessee is a long state. Southwest Tennessee from down in the Memphis area, and Chattanooga State is from, that's right, from Chattanooga. Campbell not happy with that call. Pops that one up. That should get out of play. Might get into the seats. Heads up. There's a lady right there that knew she was in peril, and she stood up. Probably a good idea. She was able to avoid that foul ball hitting off the seat. Count goes no balls and 2 strikes to Scott Campbell. Swing and a miss. Campbell down on strikes. First time that he's been kept off the base paths. Second strikeout by Wes Butler on in relief of Peyton Charles.
Now batting for the
Adam Haber steps in.
Adam Haber.
Made a heads-up play last inning after catching the pop-up out in left field. Almost looked like he jumped. But I don't know why you jump at a ball. You really want to try to catch it down around your knees as you act like you're going to catch it up high. But Brady Holloway did leave just a hair early as he checked the replay. Producer Reagan Smith able to get switched to the wide camera, and it stayed within your view. You can zoom in on the YouTube feed, replay it if you want to. We don't have replays here, but you can go back and replay it yourself. And then fast forward. You can't fast forward live. I mean, we don't know who wins this game yet, so even DirecTV can't do that. Nine to 3. Chattanooga State trying to put a few more on the board. Adam Haber will take a walk. Third walk by Wes Butler. And the 9th walk of the game, and out of the dugout will come head coach Eric Schoenrock. He's already called to the bullpen. So we'll take a break, tell you about the new pitcher when we return on the VolState Sports Network. Semi-concrete call to the bullpen for the Salukis. Jacob Dotson in relief of Wes Butler. 6 foot, 185-pound sophomore, left-handed pitcher from Atoka, A-T-O-K-A, Tennessee. Attended Tipton Rosemark High School. Jacob Dotson on for his 13th appearance, all in relief. The 1-1 record, 4.26 ERA, has 2 saves on the year. This is not an opportunity. 12-plus innings, given up 11 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned. Walked 9, struck out 14 batters. Opposing batters hitting .224 off of the left-hander. He is in relief of Wes Butler, who went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. One of those hits was a solo home run by Mason Page, and so far has given up 2 runs, responsible for Adam Haber, who's standing on first base. Owen Brock will be the first batter that Jacob Dotson faces. Pitch called a ball, throw down to second base, and Haber in there for a stolen base. So we have a Canadian on the Salukis roster as well. Here. And Evan Ash is Canadian. So C.J. Morrow, Aiden McCaskey, and Evan Ash, all from north of the border. Thanks for the intel, Colin. All played with the same organization in Canada. Haber dancing a little bit off second base, but he stays put. Brock grounded out in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third, walked in the fourth, looking for his first base hit. Actually, of the tournament. Oh for 3 in yesterday's game. Strike called. Love to hear the loud strike call. If I turn that field mic on like I should, we'll hear it a lot more. Oh, so close to being hit by the ball 4. Nobody likes that. Third free pass that Owen Brock has received, and not what head coach Eric Schoenrock's looking for. We'll have a pinch hitter here for Cole Brennan, the right-hander. Looks like number 16 in the Chat State lineup. Connor Saculo, or Saculo, I think it's Saculo, S-A-C-C-U-L-L-O from Sevierville, Tennessee. One with Saculo. So we've had a number 13, a number 15, and a number 16 hitting in the DH role. Looks at a first pitch from Jacob Dotson, and that's a called strike. Cole Brennan had a sacrifice fly in the fourth. And Connor Saculo will take a hit by pitch. So 2 free passes given up by Jacob Dotson. And the bases are now loaded with free passes.
Next at bat for the Tigers.
So that's 10 walks and 2 hit batters. 12 freebies. Last time this happened, Scott Campbell hit one over the fence for a grand slam home run. See what Cade Chamley does. He will look at the first pitch. It's high and a bit tight. He's 1 for 2. Cade Chamley hits one out. It'd be his first of the year. Now 4 players for Chat State have home runs, 15 on the year. 1-1 is fouled off to the right side. Scott Campbell struck out to lead off the inning, but the next 3 have reached on a walk, and a hit batter. Cade Chamley going to go down on strikes. First out recorded by Jacob Dotson. Now out number 2. Well, we are here in the 6th inning, and if Aiden McCaskey happens to hit one out of the ballpark, it'll be a walk-off grand slam home run, as that would be 10 runs. Walters State had a walk-off base hit yesterday, and it's a ball. That's ball 2 to McCaskey. Dotson has not given up a home run this year. One of only 3 pitchers for the Salukis who has not. That's a deep drive into right center field. Back goes Banyan, and this ball game is, oh no, He might have, did he keep that in the ballpark? He's laying down. I guess that must have been the ball that went over the fence, but B.J. Banyan has white on his wrist, I believe, and that's a walk-off grand slam home run by Aiden McCaskey. I thought that Banyan had got that one off the wall, but he laid down and couldn't believe it. That is a walk-off grand slam home run, and this ball game is over. Chattanooga State Tigers win 13-3, 2 grand slam home runs in the ball game. Scott Campbell and Aiden McCaskey. That is McCaskey's 6th home run of the year, and he retakes the RBI lead back from Scott Campbell. That is RBIs 55, 56, 57, and 58. That ball apparently just got over that right center field wall right at the Full Count Ministries. You have to watch that one on replay. Let's check that one out. Let's see how that one goes. Producer. And you actually can't see it as it's zoomed in. Can't see the ball go over the fence. But it did, or B.J. Banyan would be showing it to you. What an exciting walk-off there. Not so exciting if you're a Salukis fan, but Chattanooga State, as that was home run number 6 for Aiden McCaskey. And the second walk-off of the tournament and the second mercy rule, is 4 runs scored, and the only hit in the inning was the grand slam. So Chattanooga State will face Walter State, the number 1 team and the number 2 team. Face off tomorrow at 4:30 in the afternoon. Southwest Tennessee will play Roane State tomorrow at 1 p.m. First game of the day, Dyersburg State versus VolState. The last game of the day will be the winners in the losers bracket between Southwest Tennessee and Roane, and Dyersburg and VolState. Walter State, Chat State will only play 1 game tomorrow. See, loser of game 11. Where do they go? I'm missing something on this bracket, I'm sure. I don't know why, but we'll figure it out tomorrow when we get a little bit more sleep. How about that, Reagan? You bet ready to shut this down. 13 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Chattanooga. 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. That's all unofficial. Check the box scores tomorrow to see exactly how it shakes out, but bottom line is Chattanooga State wins this winner's bracket ball game over the Salukis of Southwest Tennessee. Thank you, each and every one, for checking out the broadcast. Come back and watch some more baseball tomorrow in the TCCAA conference tournament here in Gallatin, Tennessee, in Middle Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. This is Tim Reese for our producer, my producer, Reagan Smith, Commissioner Forrest Chasen, and Athletic Director Bobby Hudson. Good night, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.